we have quite a commanding board. The Warlock is at 9 health. The Void Lord poses a bit of a problem, but look at my hand. Look at all of the tools that I have in my hand to deal with this situation. But of course, being a Q block, he heals to 14, starts clearing my board, and he's feeling pretty comfortable, I think, at 14 health. Now, again, we have lots of options here, lots of things that we can do. The Lich King actually gave us Death Coil, actually gave us a useful card for a change. I'm eyeing up Argent Commander, which has the Val'anyr buff, eyeing up True Silver Champion. I want to save the Equality. The Equality is going to be useful later, perhaps, depending on what happens on the next turn. I can't see lethal here. If I was to Equality and then Consecrate, he'd still get those taunts. So I can't see a method of easily getting lethal. Hey, maybe you guys can spot lethal from this hand. I don't know. But we have a commanding board and we have various options in hand. So it's unlikely that he recovers in this game. Godfrey helps a little bit at dealing with the board. And he feels good about this because he's overwritten True Silver Champion. So he's got some value. But this is just lethal now. This is just lethal. He didn't develop anything else that was significant on the board. And this is just a display, really, of the power of Avenging Wrath and getting something useful from the Lich King. For once. Okay, looking at another highlight here. So, the Val'anyr buff was on both of my taunts, which was awesome. The Warlock gets Val'anyr. This game is pretty crazy, but despite all of that, we get the buff on the Argent Commander. And this game is over. Yeah, Doomsayer's not going to help you now, my friend. The end is indeed coming, but it's coming for you. The Val'anyr buff on Argent Commander is pretty sweet. That or on the Saronite Chain Gang, those are, I think, your two best targets in this deck. And a quick final clip before we discuss the deck. Against the Paladin, Murloc Paladin, who's got a reasonably commanding board. You know, our health totals are both pretty low. But despite all of that, you know, Argent Commander charging 4 damage. Oh, scrap that. Charging 8 damage gives us the victory. Right, so I've got quite a positive win rate with this deck. 75% win rate across 12 games. Yes, I know it's a very, 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 very small sample, but it's still a positive win rate that took me to rank 3. I can't complain. The losses against the Priests were down to Dustbreakers, which came out early and there was nothing I could do about it. But as I say, got me to rank 3, can't complain. This is the Stancifka version of the deck, and it's an interesting version because it plays Blood Mage Thalnos, which is great with Consecration. You do 3 damage Consecration. Sometimes 2 damage is just not enough. Thalnos also very, very good with Avenging Wrath. You do that 1 extra damage, which, hey, sometimes can mean the difference between getting lethal and not getting lethal. One of the key ideas in this deck, of course, is to draw Call to Arms as early as possible, to have it in hand ready for turn 4. So mulliganing quite aggressively for it is important. The other interesting card in this deck is Val'anyr, and it's just great because it's what I call repeat value. You play the weapon, and then you can re-equip it again, and it buffs minions. It's just awesome in terms of just chained repeat value. Of course, if your opponent has a silence effect, you're sad, but if they don't, then Val'anyr synergizing with Saronite Chain Gang is great because you get 2 buff effects in essence, or with Argent Commander it's awesome because the commander has charge, as you saw in those earlier clips. So this is a pretty fun deck, it's pretty cool. Double Spellbreaker takes care of those pesky Void Lords, and the Lich King offers a little bit of extra late game value. I don't have a lot of good luck with the Lich King. I tend to get cards often that are useless, that don't fit the context of the game that I'm playing. So maybe you guys out there who play the Lich King have better luck than me. I don't know. But yeah, he's a threat that does need to be dealt with. You will often find that he doesn't live into your next turn. So you better hope that the one card you draw from the Lich King is a good card. And of course, Sunkeeper Tarim in this deck, very good for buffing up your own board, being aggressive, or dealing with big enemy minions. Okay, so we're going to have a look at a series of games of this deck in action on the standard mode ladder, starting out at rank 4, and we're going up against a priest. Now, I'm mulliganing quite aggressively for Call to Arms. We don't get it, instead we get a couple more 2-drops, and sometimes with this deck I find that I get all of my 2-drops, and then I get both copies of Call to Arms, and you know, sometimes I just get no value. Certainly no value from the second Call to Arms. So that can be a bit awkward. And speaking of awkward, going up against a priest, usually this turn 1 hero power would be great. But if they play Northshire Cleric, then we have a bit of a problem, because we can't deal with it. And then he's pretty much going to be guaranteed to get value. But no, there's no cleric on his part. So I'm going to play the Amani. And the reason is this. If he has a cleric, he plays it. Both of my minions trade in, kill the cleric. The Amani gets buffed. So some pretty slow turns here from the priest early on. So I'm just going to go wide. Just going to go wide on the board. Now what we're scared of course, is Duskbreaker. And you saw the stats I posted earlier. 2 losses to priests, and both of those losses were down to Duskbreakers, which helped the priest, get control of the board again. So we do need to think. If this board survives, he's playing the coin, which means... Does he have it? Yes, he does. But there's Call to Arms. And there's my refill. It's a shame about the order there. If only the Beetle had been the last card to come onto the board, we'd have got some more juggles. But anyway. At least Call to Arms has helped us get some kind of a foothold on the board.
Your magic shall not save you.
And those juggles were really poor. Can you imagine if both of them had hit the minions, or if at least one minion had been hit? That's really unfortunate. But yeah, I'm playing against a lot of Dragon Priest, a lot of spiteful Dragon Priest at this rank on the standard mode ladder. And sometimes they can just outvalue you. What this deck has though is a double equality, and double equality can just negate the value of spiteful summoners. It's especially good against priest, and especially good against spiteful druid. But we have no equality in our hand. Not that we need it at the moment.
This curse has become our greatest strength.
And I'm just ignoring that. I'm just ignoring it. We're pushing a lot of damage here. And to me, that's the key. You need to just push as much damage as possible. Because we have Argent Commander, we have True Silver Champion, we have Avenging Wrath, we have a lot of damage in our hand. So unless he runs some kind of healing spells, then we're in a good position to eventually get lethal. We just need to stay the course here. Question is, how much of my board can he clear? By the looks of it, he's going to clear most of my board. And there's the healing. Healing for 6. We don't care about the board, but healing his face for 6 is really unfortunate. So trying to decide here on what the best course of action is. Happy to leave the dragon alive. He's going to have to work hard to get through Tarim.
That belongs in a museum.
Oh, well, Harrison Jones, Tempo Harrison. Fair enough. Maybe now it's time to reveal True Silver Champion. We have the Equality Avenging Wrath combo as well in our hand. That's actually pretty crucial, pretty important. But that is just lethal. Yeah. Sometimes, it's not easy to spot. It's really not easy to spot. You've got to remember that Equality puts the minion down to 1, and then you're doing the 7 damage to the face. But yeah, easy lethals with this deck. Okay, another priest, and I'm contemplating that Equality. Happy to keep the loot order, it's card draw. There's Val'anyr and there's Call to Arms. I feel happy now. I feel really happy. I played quite a few games. Out of the 12 games, I played quite a number of those games where Val'anyr would be in the last 5, last 10 cards of the deck. And that was pretty awkward. So to see it here in the opening hand actually makes me quite happy. Sure, we're not going to be able to play it for a bit, and I'd probably rather not see Avenging Wrath in this opening hand. Oh, bloody hell, another Avenging Wrath. Probably don't want to see those, both of those in the hand, but it's fine because we have Call to Arms, we have the coin, so there is stuff that we can do in the meantime. This looks like Quest Priest, which means Amara is going to be coming down. These juggles are pretty decent. None of them went face. Different to that last game, where the juggles all went face. And there's Twilight's Call. And this is what's going to allow Amara to come down quite early. So, what is our solution to this? I guess our solution is to fill the board up. Okay. Juggle's doing good work again. We have a relatively wide board. I'm trying to think about AoE as well. Trying to think about Dustbreaker. But I wonder if he plays Dustbreaker. Nine damage Avenging Wraths because of Thalnos. It could just be Spellbreaker here.
Magic shall not save me.
Again, it's just allowing these juggles to do some work. And like in the previous game, we're just going to ignore that minion. Just going to go face. Just going to go face and hope that there's no AoE on this turn that can clear my board. It's possible that we can actually kill him before Amara comes down. If that's the case, then I think that will speak volumes about the aggressive power of this deck. I mean, look at this hand. We have Sunkeeper Tarim, which we could play next turn. That buffs the attack power on 6 of my minions. Avenging Wrath with Thalnos, 9 damage. That is not to be underestimated or understated. In that last game, I'd almost forgotten about how dangerous Avenging Wrath was. It got me lethal with equality. It's fascinating to see how Avenging Wrath has made its way into the meta. Absolutely fascinating. A card that maybe a year ago, even 2 years ago, would have been considered unplayable even. Or you'd have been thought of as mad for playing it. Anyway, is this just lethal? I believe it is. Even with the armor gain from the beetle, it's still lethal, I think. And even if it isn't, does it matter? Looking at what we've got in our hand. I mean, we've managed to beat him before he plays Amara, before he completed the quest. That was really crucial. But not missing Avenging Wrath lethal this time. Okay. Just to give you an idea of how crazy this meta is at the moment, at least from my experience. Another priest! Another priest.
Turned our curse into our strength.
Although I suspect that this will not be Quest Priest. I suspect this will be Spiteful Priest. That is the most common type of priest that I've been facing. Now, I talked earlier about the Cleric and how dangerous it was on turn 1. You know, going up against your dude that you play on your turn 1. So, happy to throw away the equality there. Happy to throw it away. A Cleric that can heal itself, that can get healed rather, and draw cards is just too dangerous. Because beyond the equality, there was really nothing I could do to kill it outright. So the danger is that he would go 2 or 3 turns with him just drawing cards off of my minions before I'd get a chance to maybe play Blessing of Kings in order to kill it off. So yeah, happy to waste the equality there, or throw it away. So, this is a substantial board, and I say substantial, there are only 2 minions on the board. But one of those minions has 5 attack, and he did not get the charge value. That's telling me something about its hand. It's giving me a lot of good information. So the question now is, do I trade? Well, all of the juggles went face. And do you know what? That's a sign. That's an omen. It's saying, yeah, I need to go face with my minion attack as well. So going face here, putting him down low at this early stage of the game, it's a big deal. Of course, what we're afraid of is Duskbreaker. That is what we're afraid of. But he doesn't have it. He does not have it. Okay, he is 6 heal to the face. Plus 2. That's awkward. But I can keep the damage going, right? I can just keep the damage going. The question is, how do I want to go about it? I think I value the card draw here from that Loot Hoarder, if he has Duskbreaker AoE. But in the meantime, we just go face. We're putting him super low. So even if he clears some of my board and heals his face, maybe Sunkeeper Tarim can come into play and help us get lethal.
Must consider.
Alright, there it is. Psychic Scream. Okay. It's not the end of the world. Oh, Call to Arms. Hello. And we get a Juggler. I get another Juggler. And this lethal is insane. We don't even need the weapon. That's incredible. Alright. This next one against Druid. Now, we get the Knife Juggler, which is fair enough. So we have a turn 1 play with our hero power. We have a turn 2 play. This is fine. What we're looking for, of course, is Call to Arms. Call to Arms and then Val'anyr for turn 6. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to assume that this is Spiteful Druid. That's what I'm going to assume here. The Knife Juggler kind of being thrown away here because he can hero power. Right. Chooses not to hero power. Chooses to get the Keleseth value. So a Druid. A Druid with Keleseth on turn 2. That's pretty lucky. That's really lucky, actually.
The scourge will devour all.
I could have True Silvered. But I don't know, I think Call to Arms is just too good to pass up. There's Blessing of Kings. Oh, no, another Call to Arms too. So, Blessing of Kings here. Happy to put it on a minion that can heal me up. Not that I need it.
Reporting for duty.
Just getting value trades here. Just getting value trades.
Pinch of death cup.
Well, turn 5 Spiteful, of course. This dude has been so lucky. Oh god, he's been so lucky. Turn 2 Keleseth, turn 5 Spiteful. But speaking of luck, that's an equality. So, yeah. We may as well wish him a bit of happiness too. The equality weakens our own minions. That feels bad. Puts us in range of swipe. It means they can die, but it's fine, right? He actually had double Spiteful back to back. That's just insane. But we do have the tools to counteract it. We have Tarim. The question is now the right time for a Tarim turn? What are we setting up? I mean, there's Call to Arms, which I think is better, because it gets more stuff on board. We're playing into Spreading Plague massively, though, which is a problem. But if he does not have Spreading Plague, then Sunkeeper Tarim next turn is essentially lethal. Even if he gets rid of 2-3 minions. Even if he plays a taunt, it will guarantee us lethal. But yeah, this is game over. He can't do enough here to stay alive. We don't even need Tarim. I was expecting more of a robust response from the Druid.
I can't win them
Yeah.
Well played.
His deck was too slow. Keleseth, double Spiteful Summoner. Too slow. Alright. Next game is against a Paladin. Now, I've sort of sat here at sort of rank 4 for quite some time, you know, always needing one win to get to rank 3.
Into our strength.
But that final boss always is a problem, you know, and you end up sitting at sort of rank 4 and 4 stars. But anyway, Paladin that looks very similar to me, so likely to be a mirror match of some kind.
Reporting for duty.
Be interesting to see if my opponent runs Val'anyr as well.
Put this apple on your
The
head.
battle.
But for the early turns, this will be a battle of the boards. Who can keep board control? Who can make the right decisions regarding the board? And some people look at Paladin and they say, oh, it's brainless. It's brainless. Well, he runs Direwolf Alpha. I don't. Okay, so this could be quite different.
It's time for a little blood.
It's certainly not brainless. There is a level of thought required, particularly in this deck that runs double equality. When is the right time to use Equality Consecration? When is the right time to use Equality Avenging Wrath? Equality Avenging Wrath is often a lethal setup. So there is a level of decision making needed. Like here, I've just used Blessing of Kings on a 1-1. It's allowed me to proactively push 5 damage. Should have thought about that a little bit more, perhaps. I could have developed a beetle and hero power. So what was the thought process behind playing Blessing of Kings? The thought process was it does 5 damage. And now he has to take another 5. Okay, he heals for a bit of that. But essentially, that's been 10 damage that we've done to his face. We're at 30. And that's significant, because now he's on the back foot from a health standpoint. So maybe we can just keep pushing a little bit more aggression. Now, he plays his own Blessing of Kings, but I assume he's going to trade. Yes, he does. So, we're at 33. He's at 20. I would argue that my Blessing of Kings turn was more fortunate. Now, I'm going to tank it, but that's fine. We're still in a better state of health than him. And I did not trade the 1-1. I went face. So, little decision there to get that 1 extra damage in may prove pertinent. Because I'm saying to him, you have to trade. You have to trade into my minions. Now, Fungal Mancer would have punished me, perhaps. But that would have been most of his turn. Now, he's developed a board. But I have Consecration. Decision, though. Do I want to consecrate this board? I think the answer is yes. But there is an argument to be made for waiting. To think, yep, my health total's semi-respectable. If he plays a couple more 1 health or 2 health minions, then it's a better Consecration.
This curse has become our greatest strength.
Reporting for duty.
But I'm smelling blood here because I'm looking at his health total. And I feel like I'm so close. I feel like I'm so close. That is not the Lich King card that I wanted. Anti-magic shell would have been good. The 5 damage spell would have been good. That's not what I wanted. Alright, Sunkeeper Tarim value. And he trades. So he's spent this game doing a lot more trading, I think, than I have. But Tarim gives him a bit of an edge on the board, and the ability to now make a comeback in this game. So, decisions to be made, proving once again that this is not the brainless deck that some people think it is. I have options in my hand.
What would Uther do?
I have 9 mana to play with. So, would Death Grip get me anything?
Your magic shall not save me. Oh Lord.
Perhaps now is not the time for Death Grip. Perhaps now is the time to just develop as wide of a board as I can, which is what I did. So now, how does he get through this? He can kill off the majority of my board. Okay, maybe he can kill off all of it now. Consecration's pretty good for him. And the Juggler.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Yes, just sniping away my board. Oh my goodness, that's mental. So, I have no board. But, I have Avenging Wrath and Inequality. Let's see. How much of his board will die here? Yeah, all of it. So, resetting the board. And given his health total, he has to kill anything that I play. Anything that I play, even just a lowly 1/1, could be buffed up. Right? Could have another Blessing of Kings. So, he's got to be super careful here. He's going to have to continue that line that he's taken for most of the game, which is trade, trade, trade. Does he trade? Yes, he does. He is keeping in line with his policy of trading. Fine. There's Juggler. Happy to see the Loot Hoarder. Because I haven't drawn Val'anyr yet. That's actually upsetting me. So if he does clear this board, the Loot Hoarder will die, and hopefully we get something useful like Val'anyr that we can play. But I have a feeling that this is over now. So he is playing a very similar deck to me. Unfortunately, Avenging Wrath did nothing for him.
The victory is yours.
Yeah, and that's it. It's over. And there's rank 3. Feels amazing.
Curse them all! This curse has become our greatest strength.
Shields up.
Right, I just wanted to look at this final highlight. It's against a Giants Mage. A Giants Mage, yes, that's right. Not often that you see Giants Mage on the ladder. So this is actually a very close game. I mean, my health total is pretty high. I'm at 31. But this guy has giants. He has giants. So that, you know, playing 1 or 2 giants on the board can neutralise my board quite easily. So yes, don't let my high health total fool you. It was quite a struggle to get to this point in the game. And here Avenging Wrath probably does very little for me, so Blessing of Kings seems reasonable. And that 2/2 has to die. It has to die. So now there is a giant on board.
Neither snow nor rain nor witch.
Got to assume that my Argent commander isn't going to survive. And what's especially annoying again in this game, I have not drawn Val'anyr. I have not drawn that card. Had I drawn it, I think maybe I would be closer to winning this game. Yeah, too often is Val'anyr in sort of the last 5 cards in my deck. It's really, really annoying. I was watching Stancifka with Val'anyr, and he was saying it can be just game-winning against Warlocks or against slower decks, because just of the value that you get from it. I was watching another pro streamer who said that Val'anyr is not essential in this deck, that you can take it, if you don't have the card, you can replace it with something else. I would disagree. I think that card in this deck, it works so well. And if you're in doubt, if you don't believe me, watch Stancifka's stream. watch him going for, what was it, rank 1 legend, and he was playing this deck. Yes, rank 1 legend with this deck, and he did especially well. But listen to his justifications. You could go on his Twitch channel, you can click on the videos section, and you can watch the archive videos of him playing it. He probably plays it a hell of a lot better than me. But yeah, he was talking about the importance of Val'anyr. So this mage now is building a board against me. Feels bad. But a lot of trading going on. Spellbreaker does nothing. The question is, do I want to play it? And I think I do. Damage here is just going to be very important. So in my deck, I still have I still have both True Silver Champions and Val'anyr left in my deck. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? So any time now... Oh, call to arms. Okay. Which is actually going to do nothing. It actually does nothing. This is another instance of call to arms just being bad for me, because you draw if you're 2 drops early, you draw your call to arms spells late game, there are no 2 drops left. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a dead card, and I think in this circumstance I really needed that card to be something proactive that I could play. And he's building a board again, probably feeling pretty good about himself. But I have 3 weapons left in my deck. I have 3 weapons. Consecration. May as well play it. Let's remove some damage. Just bring him closer to dying. So, the last 3 cards in my deck are both True Silvers and Val'anyr. How mental is that? All of my weapons are the absolute last cards of my deck. How mental is that? That says something about my luck in this game. To be fair, Pyros is in his last 3 cards, so I guess that's fair then. It balances out. Bad luck for him, bad luck for me. Yeah, it is a True Silver. And that's it. And he's a good sport. He allowed me to get the win there without conceding first. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the Stancifka Val'anyr Paladin. Cool deck. Hey, got me to rank 3, positive win rate, can't complain. Yeah, just you need a little bit of luck. You need to draw that Val'anyr on time. You need to draw those call to armses on time. And as you've seen in this video, I've had some issues with that. The Lich King giving me useless cards had some issues there too. But generally speaking, this deck is incredibly strong. And if you can time the Val'anyr effect on Argent Commander, on Saronite Chain Gang, you are laughing all the way. You know, so it's a good deck. Equality Consecration is pretty awesome. Equality Avenging Wrath is even more awesome. And I'm really happy to see Avenging Wrath make a comeback. I cannot actually physically remember the last time that Avenging Wrath was considered a key card in any meta in Hearthstone beyond the early days of the game back in 2014. So to see Avenging Wrath make its comeback in this deck, to see Argent Commander come back, it's pretty cool, especially if you were someone that's played Hearthstone from the beginning and remember playing Argent Commander and Avenging Wrath, you know, in sort of early versions of Paladin, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, I would be grateful, and I'll see you guys all again very soon for more standard or wild mode fun.